Gothic architecture is an architectural style that was prevalent in Europe from the late 20th to the 16th century during the High and Late Middle Ages, surviving into the 17th and 18th century in some areas. It also evolved from Romanesque architecture and was succeeded by Renaissance architecture. On top of that, it also originated in the L'Île-de-France and Picardy regions of northern France. The style at the time was sometimes known as the Opus Francigenum. The term Gothic itself was first applied contemptuously during the later Renaissance by those ambitious to revive the architecture of classical antiquity.
So, Gothic architecture was named for the Goth, the Germanic group that fought against Roman rule in the late 300s and early 400s. Their ascent is widely believed to have marked in the beginning of the medieval period across Europe, when the Goths held power after the collapse of the Roman Empire and the creation of the new Holy Roman Empire from the 5th to 8th centuries. Although this group was not known for their architectural feats, the name Gothic was applied to the style of churches that emerged after the fact nearly 1,000 years later. Moreover, the style was first realized in France as a breakaway from the Romanesque style, which was during a time when cultural development accelerated and architects and masonry workers had the opportunity to explore more complex structural elements. Politically, this era was marked by peaceful and prosperous times where buildings were carefully designed and took up to a century to construct as a result. Furthermore, it involved the Romanesque architecture and was succeeded by Renaissance architecture, which was marked by its many arcs, vaulted ceilings, and smaller stained glass windows. The Goths contribute many architectural ideas. Those ideas have been used in various structures in the Gothic period, most importantly in the construction of cathedrals. Renaissance architecture, which flourished after the Gothic architecture, adopted some of its ideas, but modified it according to their architectural sense of understanding. In the 12th and 13th centuries, advanced in engineering enabled architects to design and complete increasingly huge buildings. Features such as flying buttress, vaulted pointed arch, known as the Gothic arch, were used to support very tall buildings and allow in as much natural light as possible. Stained glass windows allowed colored light into vast interiors.
Transition from Romanesque to Gothic. The transition from Romanesque to Gothic architecture marks a significant shift in architectural styles during the Middle Ages in Europe. There are several factors contributed to this evolution. Firstly, innovations in construction techniques. Romanesque architecture was characterized by thick walls, rounded arch, and small windows. Builders faced limitation in height and light due to the weight-bearing nature of the structures, while Gothic architecture introduced innovative structural elements like pointed arch, ribbed vaults, and flying buttresses. This innovation allowed for taller, more spacious, and well-lit buildings. The pointed arch distributed weight more efficiently, enabling taller structures without compromising stability. Next, advancement in engineering and technology. Gothic architects made advancement in engineering, particularly in understanding how to distribute weight and stress within structures. This led to a greater emphasis on verticality, allowing for taller buildings with thinner walls and larger windows. The use of flying buttresses, external support that counteracted the outward thrust of the vault, allowed for more expansive and open interior spaces in Gothic building. Furthermore, the spiritual and cultural influences. There was a shift in religion and cultural attitudes during the transition from Romanesque to Gothic. Gothic architecture was influenced by a desire to create grand, inspiring spaces that reflected a sense of spirituality and glorified God. The rise of the Gothic style coincided with the growth of urban centres, where cathedrals became symbols of civic pride and religious devotion. The scale and grandeur of these buildings were meant to inspire and uplift the faithful. Moreover, distinctive features of early Gothic cathedrals. Chartres Cathedral, Notre Dame de Reims, and Amiens Cathedral in France are some of the exemplary early Gothic cathedrals. Features include pointed arch, reed vaults, elaborate stained glass windows, and soaring height achieved through the use of flying buttresses. Next, innovation in art and design. Gothic architecture integrated advancement in art and design, particularly in stained glass windows. These windows became a prominent feature, allowing for the infusion of vibrant colours and narrative from biblical stories into the sacred spaces. Elaborate sculptures, intricate carvings, and decorative elements characterize Gothic cathedrals, showcasing a departure from the simpler and more massive structures for the Romanist era. So, moving on to the distinctive features of early Gothic cathedrals. This time, we will explain more detail about the features. There are a few of the significant features, such as pointed arch. Gothic cathedrals are characterized by pointed arch, which replace the rounded arch of the preceding Romanist style. Next is reed vaults. These structures replace the Romanist barrel vaults, allowing for greater height and more open interiors. Next, flying buttresses. External support that allowed for the construction of higher walls and larger windows, a key innovation of Gothic architecture. Next one, large stained glass windows. Gothic cathedrals are known for their extensive use of stained glass, which fill the interiors with coloured light and serve a symbolic and narrative purpose. Last one, sculptures and reliefs. The wall and portals of Gothic cathedrals were adorned with statues of saints, complex reliefs, and other intricate decorations, serving a deeply symbolic and spiritual purpose.
Competition and prestige. There was often a sense of competition among cities and regions to build the tallest or most elaborate cathedral. This competition was not only driven by religious favor but also by a desire for prestige and economic benefits associated with pilgrimage and tourism. Cathedrals as artistic achievements. The construction of cathedrals involved not only architectural innovations but also intricate sculptures, stained glass windows, and other artistic elements. Many cathedrals became showcases of medieval art and craftsmanship. Economic impact. The construction of cathedrals required significant financial resources and labor. The building process often spanned several generations and community invested heavily in cathedral construction. This economic investment contributed to the growth of the trade and craftsmanship in medieval towns. Symbol of civic pride. Cathedrals were not only places of worship but also symbols of civic pride. The completion of a grand cathedral was a communal achievement that reflected the prosperity and unity of a community. Some of the famous examples of Gothic cathedrals include Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris, Chartres Cathedral in France, and the Canterbury Cathedral in England. The rise of the cathedral played a crucial role in shaping the cultural and architectural landscape of medieval Europe. Technological advancements. The construction of cathedrals required advanced engineering techniques. Innovation like pointed arches, and flying buttresses distributed weight more effectively, enabling the construction of taller and more intricate structures. Religious significance. Cathedrals were often the centerpieces of medieval cities and towns and served as places of worship and religious significance. They were dedicated to saints or religious figures and were important symbols of the power and influence of the church. The phrase rise of the cathedrals generally refers to the period in medieval Europe when Gothic cathedrals began to emerge and flourish. The construction of cathedrals during this time was a significant architectural and cultural phenomenon that spanned from the 12th to the 16th centuries. Here are some key points about the rise of cathedrals. First is a Gothic architecture. The rise of the cathedrals coincided with the development of Gothic architecture, characterized by pointed arches, ribbed vaults, and flying buttresses. This architectural style allowed for greater height and natural light in buildings. There are three notable cathedrals, which are Notre Dame, Chartres, and also Westminster Abbey. Towers. Two towers. Notre Dame has two towers on its western facade. These towers are not identical but have subtle differences in their designs. Gargoyles and grotesque. The exterior of Notre Dame is adorned with numerous sculptures, including gargoyles and grotesque. Gargoyles serve as water spouts to direct rainwater away from the building, while grotesque are decorative sculptures. Flying buttresses. One of the defining features of Gothic architecture is the use of flying buttresses. There are arched supports on the exterior of the cathedral that help distribute the weight of the roof and walls, allowing for higher and thinner walls, the large stained glass windows. Pointed arches. Gothic architecture is characterized by pointed arches, which replace the round arches of earlier Romanesque architecture. The pointed arches help distribute the weight of the structure more efficiently. Rib vaulting. Notre Dame features rib vaults, which are intersecting arched stone support that create a skeletal structure for the roof. This construction technique allows for a greater height and an open, airy interior.
Gothic designs were actually created to bring more sunlight into spaces, often employed for church, cathedrals, and other massive stone buildings. Gothic architecture adopt and adapt this Romanesque element to produce a new style of building that feature exaggerate arch, increased vaulting, and enlarged windows. However, Gothic architecture also abandoned one key feature of Romanesque architecture, which is thick walls.
During the Gothic era, social life revolved around religion. The church had great power and influence over society. Many people were in religious institutions, such as monasteries and convents, as well as in construction of the churches and cathedrals. One occupation that related to the architecture during this era was stonemason. The skilled craftsmen were responsible for carving and shaping stone into intricate design that could be used in the construction of buildings. They also worked closely with architecture and builders to ensure that the structure they were working on were both aesthetically pleasing and structurally sound. Overall, the social life of people during the Gothic era was heavily influenced by religion and church. Many people worked in religious institutions or in the construction of buildings related to that religion. The profession of architect, builder, and stonemason were closely tied to the Gothic architecture that defined this era.
Mystery and myth. During the Gothic era, mysterious and mythological elements were prevalent in various aspects of culture, including architecture. Gargoyles and grotesques, which are fantastic or mythical figures carved from stone and fixed to the wall or roof of a building, are examples of such elements. The sculptors of Gothic cathedrals in 12th and 13th centuries were responsible for presenting the stories of the Bible and portraying various mythical creatures. The widespread emergence of grotesques often converged with popular art style, especially the combined rise of the Gothic style and the addition of grotesques in architecture. Gothic fiction of the late 17th and 18th also features mythical monsters that personify societal fear, such as the fear of the consequence of unchecked sins and the dread of the unknown within ourselves. The term Gothic itself was associated with a perceived rebellion against classical authority, with the memory of ancient Greece and Rome being crucially intertwined with the history of the Gothic idea. The Gothic style, which encompasses architecture, sculpture, and various art forms, also incorporated mythological and fantastical elements as seen in depiction of lifelike and fantastical creatures in medieval embroideries and the revival of the art of stained glass by the Victorians. Gargoyles and grotesques are prominent features of Gothic and medieval architecture, serving both functional and decorative purposes. They have been the subject of much fascination and debate, with their mysterious and fantastical appearance often linked to religious belief and superstition. What is gargoyles? Gargoyles are carved or formed grotesques with spouts designed to convey water from roof, such as rainspout or waterspout. They are often found on the facades of the cathedrals, castles, and other buildings, and serve a practical purpose in protecting the structure from water damage. Gargoyles date back to ancient times, with the earliest record gargoyle-like creature being a classical Greek lion on the Acropolis in Athens. Dating back to the 4th century, during the Gothic era, gargoyles became more common and often used to depict fantastical creatures, mythical beings, and even unsettling humans. What is grotesque? Grotesques are fanciful figures reminiscent of those found painted on the wall of grottos. They are more a support form like a corbel and are often found in Gothic architecture. Grotesques share many characteristics with gargoyles, such as their fantastical appearance and their roles in protecting the building. The term of grotesque was specifically used during the Gothic period to describe the peculiar sculptures found on churches, cathedrals, and other Catholic institutions. The stories and legends of the gargoyles and grotesques. Gargoyles and grotesques are steeped in mysteries and legends, often associated with their role in warding off evil spirits and protecting buildings. According to French legend, Saint Romanus saved his country from a dragon named La Gargoyle. After defeating the creature, Saint Romanus burned its body. However, since the dragon had possessed the ability to breathe fire, its head and neck could not be burned. Therefore, they mount La Gargoyle head on the wall of the church and use it to scare off harmful spirits. Some legends say that these stone creatures actually come to life to ward off evil, and they can communicate with others when the wind or rain pass through their mouth. Other myths claim that the gargoyle is a creature that is stone during the day but come to life at night. The myth of the gargoyle took on new life with the relatively recent idea that the stone beasts come to life at night. The difference between gargoyles and grotesques. The difference between these two lies in their function and appearance. Gargoyles serve as waterspout, directing water away from the building to prevent damage. Grotesques, on the other hand, have no practical function, such as conveying water away from the building. For the appearance, gargoyles often depict grotesque figures, mythical creatures, or hybrid beings. Grotesques resemble figures painted on the wall of grottos and are more often decorative than gargoyles.
The Gothic era, spanning roughly from the 12th century to the 16th century, was famous for its iconic architecture and unique construction style. This era stands as a significant chapter in the world history, not only because of its soaring cathedrals and artistic achievement, but also by its impressive technological development related to the architectural field and other fields as well. This part will give us insight about the structure and technology that existed during the Gothic era and how the people during this period constructed their sacred and secular spaces. One of its technology in architectural mechanism is reed vaulting. The use of reed vaults, which were interconnected arches supporting the roof, provided structural stability and allowed for more expensive and intricate ceiling designs. The people during Gothic era also used flying buttresses. It is an external support that help counteract the outward thrust of the vaulted ceilings, enabling the construction of taller and more elaborate structures with larger windows. Not only that, the development of mechanical clocks during this era influenced the construction of tall towers and spires, providing a means to display the time to the community. They also developed a new method in the construction of cathedrals, such as the use of scaffolding and cranes, as well as the advancement in glass-making techniques. This technique allowed for the creation of beautiful and colorful stained glass windows, which became a prominent feature of Gothic cathedral. The period saw major technological advances, including the adoption of gunpowder, the invention of vertical windmills, spectacles, and greatly improved water mills and agriculture in general, which is three-field crop rotation. This technological advancement not only transformed the architectural style, but also enabled the creation of mesmerizing structures that defined the Gothic era, as well as to ease the everyday lives of the people during the Gothic period.
The Gothic Revival was an architectural movement that began in England in the late 18th century and continued throughout the 19th century, spreading to the rest of Europe, Australia, Africa, and the Americas. It drew upon features of medieval Gothic architecture, including decorative patterns, finials, lancet windows, and hood molds. The movement was not limited to architecture but also influenced other decorative arts. The transition to the Gothic Revival in the 19th century was marked by a growing interest in reviving medieval Gothic architecture, intending to complement or supersede the neoclassical styles prevalent at the time. The movement saw the construction of a large number of Gothic Revival buildings, with the influence of revivalism peaking by the 1870s. The use of new materials, such as iron, steel and glass, along with a concern for function and space, eventually led to the decline of the Gothic Revival in popular building requests. The Gothic Revival movement was particularly influential in England, where it was associated with the romantic, high church aesthetic of the Oxford movement. Many existing Gothic buildings were extensively repaired, restored and rebuilt during the 19th century, often to improve them according to the romantic aesthetic and to replace features lost in previous centuries. Gothic Revival architecture is characterized by intricate detailing, tall, vertical emphasis, large windows, and many pointed arches. The main features of the Gothic Revival style include pointed arches in windows and doors, steep roofs, detailed trim, and the use of stone and other castle-like elements. Gothic Revival structures have stick gables often trimmed with decorative trims or details and were constructed of stone, glass, iron and steel to capture the feeling of stone construction used in the 16th century and prior. Elaborate tracery in windows and other architectural elements was a hallmark of the Gothic Revival. The tracery often featured intricate patterns such as trefoils, quadrifoils, and other geometric designs. The Gothic Revival was part of a broader cultural movement known as Romanticism. Romantic writers, poets, and artists found inspiration in medieval themes, folklore, and a sense of nostalgia for a perceived simpler and more authentic past. The movement emphasized the value of craftsmanship and skilled labor. Handcrafted elements, intricate detailing, and the use of traditional materials were seen as a reaction against the industrialization and mass production of the time. The Gothic Revival had a significant impact on church architecture. Many churches and cathedrals were built or renovated in the Neo-Gothic style, reflecting a desire to capture the spiritual and aesthetic qualities associated with medieval religious structure. The style also found its way into the design of academic and institutional buildings, including universities, libraries, and government buildings. This was especially true in the United Kingdom and the United States. In addition to architecture and interior design, the Gothic Revival influenced landscaping. Romantic gardens and parklands often featured Gothic-inspired structures such as follies, gazebos, and bridges. The Gothic Revival waned in popularity in the late 19th century as other architectural styles such as the arts and craft movements and Art Nouveau gained prominence. However, its influence persisted and elements of the Neo-Gothic style can still be seen in various buildings and cultural artifacts today. Augustus Welby Northmore Pugin was a British architect, designer and critic who played a pivotal role in the Gothic Revival movement during the 19th century. His influence extended beyond his architectural designs, encompassing his ideas on design philosophy, craftsmanship, and the relationship between architecture and society. Here are key aspects of Augustus Pugin's influence. Architectural design. Pugin was a prolific architect who designed numerous buildings, particularly ecclesiastical structures. His notable works include the interior design of the Palace of Westminster, Houses of Parliament in London, St. Giles Roman Catholic Church in Cheadle, and St. Augustine's Church in Ramsgate. Pugin's designs were characterized by a meticulous adherence to Gothic principles, incorporating pointed arches, ribbed vaults, and detailed ornamentation. The True Principles of Pointed or Christian Architecture. Pugin's influential book, The True Principles of Pointed or Christian Architecture, outlined his views on architecture and design. In the book, he argued for the moral and spiritual superiority of the Gothic style, criticizing the perceived shortcomings of contemporary architecture. Pugin believed that the Gothic style was not only aesthetically pleasing but also reflecting a society's religious and moral values. Contrast. Pugin's earlier work, Contrast, was a polemical book that juxtaposed the supposed virtues of medieval society and architecture with what he saw as the moral and aesthetic failings of the modern industrial era. This book, accompanied by vivid illustration, was a powerful critique of the impact of industrialization on society and an impassioned plea for a return to Gothic principles. Ecclesiastical design. Pugin's influence on church architecture was profound. His design for churches and cathedrals adhered to the principles of medieval Gothic architecture. Pugin believed that the Gothic style was not merely a stylistic choice, but a reflection of the divine order, making it especially suitable for religious buildings. Domestic architecture. Pugin extended his Gothic principles to domestic architecture as well. He advocated for a revival of medieval craftsmanship in the design of homes, including the use of handcrafted furniture and decorative elements. Pugin's own residence, the Grange in Ramsgate, served as a showcase for his ideas on domestic architecture. Collaboration with John Hartman. Pugin collaborated with John Hartman, a stained glass manufacturer, to produce intricate stained glass designs for many of his projects. The collaboration contributed to the revival of the medieval craft of stained glass and added a distinctive Gothic touch to Pugin's building. Legacy. Augustus Pugin's influence extended beyond his lifetime. His ideas inspired a generation of architects, designers, and craftsmen who continued to champion the Gothic revival. Pugin's son, Edward Welby Pugin, also became an architect and continued his father's work after his untimely death in 1852. In summary, Augustus Pugin's influence on the Gothic revival was multifaceted, encompassing architectural design, theoretical writings, and a broader advocacy for the revival of medieval craftsmanship and values. His impact can still be seen in Gothic-inspired buildings and the enduring legacy of the Gothic revival movement.
One of the examples for the old Gothic architecture is the Milan Cathedral, Italy's largest church. It is a Gothic masterpiece taking 600 years to finish, completed in 1965. Notable for its intricate facade and impressive size, delays during the World War II occurred quite a lot. Next, the Reims Cathedral in France, also known as Notre Dame de Reims, was built in the 13th century in High Gothic style. Recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site since 1991, it's famous for its ornate design and served as the coronation site for French kings. Moving on to the modern Gothic architecture, the Market Hall revitalized against historic center, once degraded due to demolitions, positioned between Gothic towers. It has houses, markets, a brasserie, bicycle park, and public bathrooms. The design respects historic buildings with a natural wooden finish. Lastly, we have the Tuch Performance Center. Originally a 13th century monastery, underwent various styles. The recent renovation highlights its historical significance, transforming it into a unique performance center hosting events and shows.
Okay, for the Gothic elements. Gothic touches still pop up in modern buildings, blending historical charm with today's designs. Think of those classic pointed arches. They're seen in modern structures, giving a sense of height and elegance to windows and doorways. Those lofty arched ceilings from Gothic times, they're making a comeback in modern buildings. They're not just beautiful, they help create unique spaces, especially in places like churches and auditoriums. Sometimes, modern buildings get a touch of Gothic flair with fancy designs and detailed carvings. It's like adding a bit of intricate art to sleek, modern looks. You know those tall Gothic cathedrals? Modern skyscrapers echo their vertical style, even if they're made of different stuff. Both love reaching for the sky. Gothic architects were big on light, and today's designers take notes. They play with light in clever ways, creating cool effects that remind us of those ancient cathedrals. Architects today mix old Gothic ideas with new materials and tricks. It's like giving a nod to the past while making something fresh and exciting. Whether obvious or subtle, these bits of Gothic style keep history alive in modern buildings. For the contemporary Gothic architecture, for this era, we have the Milwaukee Art Museum. It is located at Milwaukee, Wisconsin, USA. This museum stands out with its modern addition designed by Santiago Calatrava. The structure boasts Gothic-inspired elements like soaring arches and cathedral-like spaces, creating a stunning blend of history and modernity. And next, we have the Harpa Concert Hall and Conference Center, which is located in Reykjavik in Iceland. With its striking honeycomb-like facade, this building combines glass panels and intricate patterns, nodding to the elaborate tracery found in Gothic architecture. The play of light and geometric designs within its modern framework creates a captivating visual experience. The Baha'i Temple. The Baha'i Temple, which is also known as the Lotus Temple, it is located in New Delhi, India. Although it is rooted in the Baha'i faith, this temple incorporates floral-inspired shapes and geometric patterns reminiscent of Gothic intricacies. Its unique design captures a sense of grandeur akin to traditional Gothic architecture. Architects often hold Gothic architecture in high esteem, appreciating its historical significance and engineering prowess. They marvel at its intricate aesthetics, discussing the elaborate traceries, detailed carvings, and the play of light through stained glass that creates captivating atmospheres. This admiration extends to the enduring influence of Gothic principles in contemporary design, with architects acknowledging how elements like pointed arches and vaulted ceilings are reimagined in modern structures. While some aim to replicate its grandeur, others prefer blending Gothic elements with contemporary needs, creating functional yet historically inspired spaces. Overall, their conversations about Gothic architecture reveal a shared appreciation for its legacy and its ongoing impact on shaping innovative architectural landscapes. Preserving and restoring Gothic structures presents a myriad of challenges rooted in their age, intricate design, and specific construction materials. The foremost concern revolves around maintaining their structural stability amid centuries-old wear and tear. Deterioration of primary materials like stone due to environmental factors poses a constant threat, demanding a delicate balance between preserving original elements and stabilizing the structure. Striking this balance becomes an ethical dilemma in restoration efforts, where the need for intervention often clashes with the intent to retain historical authenticity. Moreover, the scarcity of skilled artisans adept in traditional techniques complicates restorations, while the high costs and securing adequate funding add to the complexity. Adapting these architectural wonders to modern needs without compromising their historical essence, consistent maintenance, and the challenge of documenting original construction techniques further contribute to the intricate task of safeguarding Gothic heritage. There are many examples of successful Gothic architecture buildings that were actually preserved and restored. So one of them is the Cologne Cathedral, which is in Germany. The restoration of Cologne Cathedral, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, stands as a remarkable achievement. Damaged during the World War II and subject to weathering over the centuries, ongoing restoration efforts have maintained its Gothic splendor. The restoration not only preserved its intricate facade but also reinstated original elements, contributing to its cultural significance and attracting millions of visitors annually. Next, we have the Westminster Abbey, which is located in London, United Kingdom. Continuous conservation efforts at Westminster Abbey have played a crucial role in preserving its Gothic architecture. The restoration work focused on repairing stonework, maintaining stained glass windows, and conserving intricate details, ensuring that this iconic structure retains its historical significance and its architectural beauty. Then we have the Chartres Cathedral, which is located in France. The restoration of Chartres Cathedral exemplifies meticulous efforts to preserve its Gothic heritage. The project involved cleaning the facade, conserving stained glass windows, and repairing sculptures. This restoration not only saved the cathedral's exquisite medieval art, but also contributed to a deeper understanding of Gothic craftsmanship. Architects, historians, and experts align in their steadfast appreciation for Gothic architecture's significance and the challenges entwined with its preservation. Architects revere its pivotal role in architectural history, lauding its innovation and aesthetics while advocating for its conservation. They emphasize maintaining the authenticity of these structures while integrating modern techniques where needed, recognizing Gothic buildings as a wellspring of inspiration for contemporary design. Historians emphasize the cultural and societal narratives embedded within Gothic architecture, viewing these structures as windows into medieval life, art, and technological progress. Their advocacy for accurate restoration, rooted in historical evidence and documentation, aims to ensure the preservation of architectural legacy for future generations. Preservation experts on the challenges inherent in conserving Gothic architecture, acknowledging structural vulnerabilities and material decay. Their approach involves employing specialized knowledge, advanced technology, and community engaged to protect Gothic heritage, balancing authenticity with sustainability. Together, these professionals rally around the shared goals of safeguarding Gothic architecture as not just physical structures, but as vital cultural artifacts that illuminate history, art, and architectural evolution.
Okay, so let us moving on and exploring the contrasting styles of Romanesque and Gothic design. Let's start with the timeline. Romanesque architecture flourished between the 11th and 12th centuries, while Gothic architecture emerged around the 12th century and persisted until the 16th century. For the design elements, Romanesque structures boast thick walls, rounded arch, sturdy pillars, and small windows. Conversely, Gothic architecture features pointed arch, ribbed vault, flying buttresses, and larger tinted glass windows, enabling taller and more luminous spaces. In addition, Gothic cathedrals stand tall, emphasizing verticality and light. Their pointed arch and flying buttresses allowed for spacious, light-filled interior. In contrast, Romanesque buildings tend to be darker and more massive due to smaller windows and thicker walls. For its decoration, Romanesque buildings often showcase simpler decoration and carving, whereas Gothic structures are adorned with elaborate sculpture, intricate ornamentation, and captivating gargoyles.
Gothic Across Borders is a captivating exploration of the spread and influence of Gothic architecture beyond its origin in Western Europe. Gothic Across Borders is not merely a study of architectural style and techniques. It is a testament to the interconnectedness of cultures and the universal appreciation for beauty and craftsmanship. It reveals how Gothic architecture transcended geographical and cultural boundaries, leaving an enduring legacy across the globe. This architectural style, characterized by its pointed arch, ribbed vaults, and flying buttress, emerged in the late 12th centuries and endured until the 16th century. Initially associated with the French royalty and the church, Gothic architecture quickly gained popularity and spread across Europe, leaving an indelible mark on architectural history. The spread of Gothic architecture across borders not only influenced the physical structures but also contributed to the exchange of ideas, artistic expression, and cultural dialogue between different regions and civilizations. It serves as a reminder of the shared human desire to create and appreciate beauty regardless of time or place. In Western Europe, the birthplace of Gothic architecture, this style flourishes and evolves over time, reflecting the ingenuity and creativity of the era. The Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris stands as a magnificent example of early Gothic architecture. Its soaring spires, intricate rose windows, and ribbed vaults showcase the innovative structural techniques and artistic craftsmanship of the time. The cathedral's facade is adorned with countless statues depicting biblical figures and saints, while its interior features stunning stained glass windows that bathe the space in ethereal light. As the Gothic style developed, it became more ornate and intricate, as seen in the flamboyant Gothic style of Sainte-Chapelle, also located in Paris. The delicate tracery, vibrant stained glass, and intricate stone carving of Sainte-Chapelle exemplify the pinnacle of Gothic artistry and create a breathtaking visual experience for visitors. Moving to Eastern Europe, Gothic architecture took on a distinct character while still embracing the core principles of the styles. The St. Vitus Cathedral in Prague, Czech Republic, is a breathtaking example of Gothic architecture in this region. Its towering spires, intricate stone tracery, and beautiful stained glass windows create a sense of awe and reverence. The cathedral's interior is adorned with stunning chapels, each featuring unique architectural details and exquisite artworks. The Black Church in Brasov, Romania, is another remarkable example of Eastern European Gothic architecture. With its imposing size, detailed stone carvings, and richly decorated interior, it showcases the unique interpretation of the Gothic style in this part of the world. The church's dark exterior, resulting from a fire that occurred in the past, adds to its mystic and allure. Beyond Europe, Gothic architecture found its way to other continents, leaving a lasting impact on the architectural landscapes. In the Americas, the Gothic revival movement in the 19th century led to the construction of notable Gothic structures. The Smithsonian Institution building in Washington, D.C., often referred to as the Castle, is an iconic example. Its medieval-inspired turrets, pointed arcs, and intricate stone detailing reflect the Gothic revival style and serve as a symbol of knowledge and discovery. In Asia, Gothic architecture has been seamlessly integrated into local architectural traditions, resulting in unique and captivating structures. The St. John's Cathedral in Hong Kong is a prime example of this fusion. Its Gothic-inspired pointed arcs, ribbed vaults, and intricate stone tracery harmoniously coexist with traditional Chinese architectural elements, creating a captivating blend of styles. The Basilica of Our Lady of Lourdes in India also showcases the incorporation of Gothic features into the local context. Its soaring spires, pointed arcs, and ornate decoration pay homage to the Gothic style while incorporating elements of Indian architectural traditions, resulting in a visually striking and culturally significant structure.
In our journey to the ethereal realms of Gothic architecture, we have unraveled a narrative woven with the thread of history, spirituality, and artistic brilliance. From the origins and evolutions that birthed the towering cathedrals with the flying buttresses and pointed arches, to the intricate sculpture and stained glass window that transform stone into storytelling canvases, each chapter has added layers to the mystic of Gothic design. As we explore the mysteries and myth, discover the Gothic revival's romantic embrace, and glimpse into the contemporary adaptation, a palpable essence emerged, an essence that transcends time and geographical boundaries. In our conclusion, we stand amidst the echoes of the past, recapping the key points that have painted a portrait of Gothic architecture as more than an artistic movement. It is a spiritual journey, an architectural symphony that continues to resonate globally. The closing talk echoes with the enduring legacy and influence of Gothic architecture, acknowledging its profound impact on the culture and inspiring contemporary designer. With encouragement, we invite viewers to travel the globe, to touch the cool stones worn by centuries, to listen to the whispered secret within the soaring vault, and to witness firsthand the time allure, the mystery embedded in Gothic design. This isn't merely an exploration, it is an acknowledgement of the indelible mark left by Gothic wonders on the cultural tapestry of our world, a mark that calls us to be both explorers and custodians of these architectural marvels, preserving the magic for generations yet to come.